Okay, so you need to know kilo, hecto, deca. Those are the metric prefixes that are bigger than our base unit. So if we go from our base unit to deca, how many of our base units will be in deca? Does anybody know? 10. What about of our base unit in hecto? 100. And of our base unit in kilo? 1,000. And then below our base unit, and you can think of this whichever way you makes the most sense to you, but we're going to have less than one of our smaller units than our base unit. So you can think of it as in one of our base units, there would be, for our base unit, like if it was meters, there would be 0.1 meters in a decimeter. Or you can think of it as 10 decimeters in 1 meter. Whatever makes the most sense to you, but you can't get it mixed up, right? When we're going down deci, centi, milli, the units get smaller. So some students, to memorize the prefixes, the metric prefixes have acronyms. Is that where it's like a phrase in the first letter? Is that an acronym? Or is an acronym a word? Whatever the thing is that's a phrase where the first letter, it's an acronym? Okay. Here's just one of them. So kangaroos for kilo, hop for hecto, down for deca, mountains. So mountains is your base unit. A lot of people will think of it as meters because it's probably one of the first metric units that you are introduced to. And then drinking chocolate milk, D for deci, C for centi, and M for milli. And that's the order of the metric prefixes. And so if I'm going from, let's say, hecto to our base unit, right? I am multiplying by what? Each step is 10, so I'm multiplying by, what's 10 times 10? 100. If I was going from my base unit to a bigger unit, so from our base unit to hecto, I would be dividing by 100. So if you memorize the prefixes in order, you can just look at which direction you're going and also move your decimal that way. So if we said we want to know in 4.5 liters, how many deciliters are there, right? We're starting in our base unit and going to deci. So am I multiplying by 10 or dividing by 10? Multiplying. So if I multiply by 10, that's the same thing as moving my decimal one place to the right. So 4.5 liters would be how many deciliters? 45. What about 250.5 milligrams? How many decagrams is that? So if I'm starting at milli and I'm going to deca, which is bigger than our base unit, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Am I multiplying or dividing by 10 4 times? Dividing by 10 4 times, which is the same thing as moving my decimal point, what? 4 places? Yes? So this would be 0.2505. Nope, I need another 0, sorry. 0.02505 decagrams. Yes? So the first one, we're given liters, 21.5 liters, and we're asked to go to milliliters. So what are we going to do? Multiply by what? 1,000, or multiply by 10 3 times. So 21.5 liters would be 21500 milliliters. Do I need to show a decimal point at the end? Why not? Are those ending zeros significant? No. So if I showed the decimal point, what would that communicate? That the zeros are significant. Good. The one next to it, we're given kilograms and asked to find grams. So if I'm going from kilo to my base unit, am I going to multiply or divide? Multiply by what? By 10 3 times, right? So 1, 2, 3. So 1.47 grams. What about in the next one? 8.56 times 10 to the 5th decagrams to decigrams. Well, I've got the number in scientific notation. That actually makes it easier, right? I already have it written by a number multiplied by 10 5 times. How am I going to change it going from decagrams to decigrams? Am I going to multiply it by 10 or divide it by 10? Am I going from bigger to smaller or smaller to bigger? Bigger to smaller. Multiply by 10 how many times? 2. So what can I do here to show that I want to multiply by 10 2 more times? Add 2 to the exponent. Good. So scientific notation can be intimidating, but with metric conversions, it's way easier because you just add or subtract from your exponent for 10. I mean, I'm not going to say it's way easier, but it's less thinking about moving the decimal. The next one, we've got millimeters to kilometers. So how am I going from smaller to bigger or bigger to smaller? So I'm going to divide by 10. How many times? Six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is the ending zero significant? No. So I'm going to write it like this. So when you do a metric conversion, you need to maintain the same number of significant figures. So if you started out with 2 significant figures, your converted answer should have 2 significant figures. What about the next one? We're going from centi to milli, to our base unit. So are we going to add to the exponent or subtract? We're going from a smaller to a bigger. We're going to subtract how many? 2. And so we'll get 3.65 times 10 to the negative 6th meters. And then the last one, we're going from milli to deci. So are we going to multiply by 10 or divide by 10? Divide by 10, how many times? 2. Do you agree? Okay. So I want you guys to work on the student examples. There are 3 different sections. This is all of them up here.